Hey, what's up guys? Today we're going to be doing a C0 Hu Tao showcase. Almost maxed, like pretty much maxed artifact wise, but still room for optimization in like talents and stuff like that. And basically I'm just going to be running around destroying everything, one-shotting most bosses, but also doing an Abyss 12 clear because just to show that C0 Hu Tao is pretty crazy. Like C1 is a huge upgrade, but even at C0, Abyss 12 can become a joke if you have a high investment Hu Tao because of how powerful she is. So that's the point of this video. I'm not going to talk for too long in the intro. We're just going to get into it. I'm going to start by showing you guys my artifacts and stuff before we get into the actual showcase, and then we will be doing that. But yeah, Hu Tao's pretty insane. Very high single target damage. A huge burst ability with her, her elemental burst does a lot of damage, and just high single target damage by spamming charge attacks. So just a very good character. That being said, I want you guys to know I stream almost every night on Twitch. Link in the description if you're interested. But without further ado, let's get right into it. So the first thing I want to do before we get into the showcase is basically talk about my Hu Tao. She's almost maxed. Like, I haven't gotten her to 90 yet because I don't have the resources to, but in terms of like stats and stuff, they are pretty well invested. 75 to 243 is very good. And she is Constellation 0 because I'm a broke college student. And one of the main reasons I'm making this is actually to talk about Hu Tao C0. So as you guys know, Hu Tao's Constellation 1 is insane. I think this is the best Constellation 1 in the game. There are some comparable ones like Bennett C1 and stuff, but this is just such a good constellation. Basically, it makes your charge attacks not cost stamina. And while you may think that's just a quality of life change, it's actually a huge DPS increase because it lets you dash cancel and it lets you spam your charge attacks even if you're dashing to dodge attacks. And in places like Abyss 12, you have to use your stamina to dodge. So this just lets you do a lot more damage. You'll see a lot of clips where I'm basically normal attacking because I don't have any stamina left, and it is annoying. But even at C0, like while C1 is very good, even at C0, Hu Tao is amazing. Her burst obviously is strong regardless of C0, C1, but even her consistent DPS, her charge attack spamming is still very strong at C0, although C1 makes it better. Now keep in mind my talents could even be higher. So what you're seeing, like it definitely could be higher. I just don't have the boss mats to do it. And in case you're wondering, the talent priority for Hu Tao is normal attack, then E, then Q, but I like to use her in like quick swap teams and sometimes using her just for her burst, which is why I leveled it. My weapon is a Staff of Homa, but it is refinement 1, so not a super whale spear, but it is still a 5-star spear, so definitely not like a free-to-play showcase, but it is refinement 1. Artifact-wise, I'm using a 4-piece witch, and this set is a must. Now I'm not going to go into too much detail because I don't want to repeat myself for my Hu Tao guide, and I don't want to waste your guys' time. But I do run a 4-piece witch. My substats are very good, so I almost put max in the title, but she isn't maxed because her talents aren't that high and stuff. But this is like a pretty high investment Hu Tao, pretty maxed on the artifact front. Her sans is HP. Now keep in mind Elemental Mastery works too, but I have an HP sans because it is the best overall, especially with my substats. And I have a Pyro Damage Goblet with really good crit on the substats and a crit rate circlet. Keep in mind most of these clips are recorded with a crit rate circlet. And I do have a crit damage substat, but if I were to use a crit damage circlet, my damage would be a lot higher. Now, for some of the clips, like the cryo plant at the end, I am using a crit damage circlet, but for most of them, especially the ones where I have to DPS for a while, it is crit rate, which makes my ratio, as I showed you guys earlier, pretty good. I'd say the one thing that my Hu Tao needs though is maybe more elemental mastery on the substats because this is like the only one I have, but I haven't gotten too lucky with that. Another really important thing with Hu Tao is her team comps. I'm going to go over the one quickly that I use in Abyss 12 because that's the most relevant. And it's basically Hu Tao, Xingqiu, Zhongli, and Kea. And so Xingqiu, as you guys know, is Hu Tao's best support because he can apply Hydro very fast, do a lot of damage, and let Hu Tao proc Vaporize on every single charge attack that she does. Because of that, Xingqiu is very good. I have a Sack Sword, only level 70, with a 2 Noblesse, 2 Heart of Depth to basically maximize his damage with Hu Tao. I also run a Zhongli. Most of the time because he's just one of the best supports in the game, if not the best. Him and Venti, I say, are like a tier of their own. Very strong. His shield shreds resistances, and his burst does a lot of damage. I maximize the damage he deals by running 2 Petra, 2 Noblesse, and if I wanted to maximize my Hu Tao damage, I could actually go for 4 Petra on him, but yeah, this is what I like, and he is C0 if you're wondering. I think Zhongli is especially useful with Hu Tao because yes, the resistance shred and yes, the shield is nice, but the shield is especially nice on a character like Hu Tao. Like yes, it's nice in general is what I meant, but for Hu Tao, who wants to stay low HP, having that shield can be a lifesaver and enable her to stay under 50% HP for her passive and for Staff of Homa. Now the last slot is very variable in this comp. You don't really need a healer if you have Xingqiu and Zhongli because Hu Tao's burst also heals. But sometimes I will run Bennett, sometimes I will run Kea, and that's what I ran today. Because Kea is just a lot of damage with a 2-piece Noblesse, 2-piece Blizzard Strayer. And I do have some Constellations on him and decent talent levels, right? 6 plus 3. So he does do quite a bit of damage and enables Hu Tao to get melts off. What's really nice with Kea with Hu Tao is that if you run him with Xingqiu and Hu Tao, your Hu Tao is basically either going to vaporize or melt, because either the enemy is going to be Hydro afflicted because of Xingqiu, or they're going to be frozen / cryo afflicted because of Kea. So you're always going to be vaporizing or melting with Hu Tao. And lastly, I do swap up the comps for the one-shots. Like against cryo plants and stuff, I do want a cryo support instead of Xingqiu, right? Because I want to be melting, not vaporizing. Where Vaporize is more consistent DPS, Melt is obviously higher for burst. So because of that, I use someone like Kea or Chongyun. And I also use Sucrose, who is very, very good at sort of powering up your DPS, because obviously, as you guys know, she gives you a lot of elemental mastery with her talents. And on top of that, you can run Thrilling Tales of Dragon Slayers on her if you want, which just gives you more attack percent. And the most important part, or the best benefit of running Sucrose, is Viridescent Venerer, which decreases the elemental resistance of enemies by 40% to the element you swirl, so to Pyro. Now, something I want to say is it's really hard to proc Viridescent Venerer if you're running Hu Tao, unless you have another Pyro character. So oftentimes what I'll do is I'll run Bennett in the comp, and yes, Bennett's burst, gives you a lot of damage, right? It gives you a lot of attack, but also what Bennett lets me do is it lets me apply Pyro to the enemy, so I can swirl the Pyro and get the Viridescent Venerer effect, which is one of the best sets in the game, probably the best support set in the game, just by far. So yeah, sorry if I talked fast, but basically I wanted to cover what I'm using in this video without making this a Hu Tao guide, because I already made one of those and I don't want to repeat myself. All right, that's about it. So now we're going to do a DPS showcase, and the way this is going to work is there's going to be a lot of bursts and also some consistent DPS showcases. What I mean by that is I'm going to one-shot like basically every boss in the game, go around just nuking them with my burst, and then if they're not dead, if it's something like a Geo Vishap that has a ton of HP, it'll be a DPS showcase after that, spamming charge attacks and stuff. So you will be able to see that, a mix of burst damage and consistent damage. I'm also including an Abyss 12 clear for that consistent damage showcase, because Abyss 12 is the hardest content in the game, and one of the pieces of content where Hu Tao's C1 is very important. But even without it, as I'm going to show you, Hu Tao makes it pretty easy. Keep in mind, I don't use any food or potions or anything like that for any clips except one, just one plant at the end to see the difference in damage. But from every other clip, literally every other, it's just Hu Tao with their supports and nothing else. That being said, subscribe if you're new, follow me on Twitch if you want. Let's get right into it. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the showcase. Hu Tao, very strong character, huge single target damage, and very high burst. I hope the showcase was cool. I did some stuff that isn't just bosses. I did like a domain and abyss just to like diversify it and show more than just burst, despite this being a primarily like a nuking one-shot video. I did want to include some other stuff. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hu Tao's tons of fun and really good. And that's about it for me. I'll be making a guide in my next video. I'm debating a few characters, and I have a few meme vids planned that seem really good, so I hope you guys are excited. Subscribe if you want to. If you don't, that's okay too, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.